was it that attracted you? Was it from watching videos? Was there somebody who recruited you, or a cleric who recruited you? What was it that prompted a 15-year-old girl to go to Syria?
During the time I left, you know, Dawla was on the news and stuff, and like a lot of videos were coming out, and I saw all the videos on the internet, and that just kind of attracted me to them.
Guys, you have a hawala? You have a hawala, Shamima? No?
I'm not sorry. I have zero sympathy for this woman. Nothing I've read over the past 24 hours has made me change my mind. I just feel like I'm being asked to feel sympathy to an ISIS defector who joined a terrorist organisation who blew up young kids in the Manchester arena bombings. I mean, am I wrong? Am I missing something, Brendan?
No, you're not wrong at all. And, you know, let's be clear, first of all, about what this story, this latest revelation does and doesn't tell us. It doesn't say that she was trafficked from Britain to Syria by someone who was informing the Canadians. What it actually says is that she went on her own volition all the way to Turkey with the express intention of joining the ISIS death cult in Syria. And it was this guy who helped her at the last stage of the journey to cross from Turkey into Syria. And he was a guy who at the same time was giving information to the Canadian government because he wanted Canadian citizenship at some point. So it's completely untrue the way some people are spinning it, which is that she was trafficked and groomed from Bethnal Green to Syria by this guy who was also working with the Canadians. She went there because she wanted to join a death cult which was enslaving women, murdering Christians, and slaughtering the good people of Syria if they didn't believe the same things that ISIS believed. And we have to get real about how serious her act of betrayal to our country was.
Because, Brendan, there's definitely a push, isn't there, by the elites in this country to try and make us forgive Begum, and it feels like they're not going to let this rest. I believe there's a new BBC podcast coming up where she declares she's not a monster. I mean, I just feel like this is a narrative that is going to run and run. Perhaps, I guess, hoping that a Labour government, a soft-touch Labour government, a soft-on-crime Labour government, a soft-on-terrorism Labour government may allow her re-entry to the country.
Oh, yeah, there is a grotesque attempt to paint her as a victim. I find it really genuinely quite repulsive. People use words like grooming and trafficking to describe how she ended up in Syria. I've seen more sympathy for Shamima Begum among the British left than I have ever seen them express for the Yazidi women who were literally trafficked by ISIS, who were enslaved, who were raped, and who were murdered by the movement that Shamima willingly joined. I've literally heard people on the left in this country I've seen them shed more tears for Shamima and her predicament than they did for those Yazidi women. I've also seen them talk about grooming in relation to Shamima Begum far more than they have about the grooming gangs in other parts of the UK, which targeted young women and raped young women as well. So they have an incredibly distorted moral compass where they are desperate to depict Shamima as a victim of Islamophobia, a victim of British racism. That's apparently why we ripped up her citizenship. And they are painting her as almost like this sympathetic figure who lacks all agency. She didn't know what she was doing. And I think they are undermining the way in which she behaved like a traitor, and she turned her back on this country and joined one of the most evil organizations in the world. We cannot lose sight of that.
What's our goal? What do we want?
What we want is back home, safely. My daughter.
Look, you told me about your daughter. She's scared of the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for your daughter to do something as crazy as this, she must have been quite...
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, scared. Yeah.
Okay. What do you want?
My daughter to come back safely.
Where?
Not in prison, but in home.
Why?
Because she's already...
Just remember that and keep saying that.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's a child.
I want my daughter back home, not in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
She's a child
Yeah.
and a victim. Okay.
yeah, full stop.
USA!